dream it all. Listen close and join my song. Gentle stories all night long. Snuggle in and rest your head. Magic dreams will now be spread. Close your eyes so calm and bright. Now begins our dream. Begins our dream tonight.
Lulu and the Lanterns Beneath the Sea. The night was calm and painted in deep shades of blue. The stars glimmered softly above the horizon, and the ocean mirrored them like a sheet of glass. Lulu stood where the sand met the tide, her hopes sinking into the cool shore as each wave reached for her and slipped away again. The sea was singing, not loudly, but low, like someone humming a lullaby far away. The melody carried no words, only a feeling, wistful, gentle, lonely. Lulu tilted her head, her ears flicking. She could hear it more clearly now, like a whisper beneath her heartbeat. "The sea is sad tonight," she murmured. A small light appeared between the waves, swirling closer until it shaped itself into a tiny seahorse made of soft, translucent glow. Its fins shimmered like glass petals as it hovered before her. "You hear it too," said the creature in a voice that sounded like bubbles breaking the surface. "I'm Mira, keeper of the shallow lights. The ocean is weeping for its lost lanterns." "Lanterns?" Lulu asked, her wool catching the moonlight. Mira nodded, her tail curling delicately. "Long ago, the sea gathered dreams that people whispered to the stars, sailors' hopes, children's wishes, tiny sparks of wonder. It shaped them into lanterns to keep the dreams safe beneath the waves. But now their lights have dimmed. The world above has forgotten to dream, and the lanterns sleep." Lulu's heart tightened as she gazed at the dark horizon. "Then we'll wake them," she said softly. "Dreams should never be left alone." From deeper water came a low, resonant hum, ancient and kind. The surface rippled, and out of the glow rose an enormous sea turtle, her shell etched with runes that shimmered like constellations. "I am Coraline," she said, her voice as deep as the current itself. "I guard the trench where the lanterns lie, but to reach them, one must travel through the silent waters where even light forgets its name." Myra's glow dimmed slightly. No one who entered that deep has ever returned unchanged. Lulu looked from one to the other, her eyes bright and calm. "Then I'll carry the moon inside me," she said. "If we go together, I won't be afraid." Coraline studied her for a moment. Then, with a slow nod, the great turtle turned toward the open sea. "Very well, little one. Let your courage be our compass." The waves parted gently, glowing silver under the moon's gaze. Mira darted ahead, her tail leaving trails of light in the dark. Coraline followed, her shell gleaming like a floating star. Lulu stepped into the water. It was cold at first, then warm, then endless. The sea cradled her gently, and for a moment she felt as if she were drifting between sky and ocean, held by both. "Show us the sleeping lights," she whispered. The sea answered, not with words, but with a deep hum that echoed through her chest. The water brightened, swirling around them in rings of pale blue. And together, they descended beneath the waves, following the song of forgotten dreams. The deeper they went, the more the world turned to silence. The surface light faded into silver threads above them, and the water grew still, thick with the hush of forgotten things. Lulu floated between Myra's faint glow and the slow rhythm of Coralline's powerful strokes, her wool rippling like a drifting cloud. All around them, strange shapes shimmered in the dark, gardens of glass coral, pale as moonlight, trails of bubbles rising like tiny stars. Yet even beauty here felt lonely, as though every sparkle was a memory waiting to be remembered. "The light fades fast," Mira whispered, her voice like a soft bell. "We are near the trench. Listen closely. Lulu, the water speaks differently here." Lulu held her breath. There were sounds, faint and far away, like the echo of bells or distant laughter beneath miles of water. "It sounds like dreams," she said softly. Coralline's great shell pulsed faint gold. "Those are the lanterns," she murmured. "Each one hums its own melody. When they were bright, the sea sang with them. Now only a few remember their tune." They reached the edge of the trench, a vast crack in the ocean floor that descended into endless blue-black. The water here was colder, heavier, and yet, far below, Lulu could see glimmers, tiny sparks that flickered and dimmed like the heartbeat of a sleeping world. "The Garden of Lanterns," Mira whispered. Her fins trembled with awe. "There they are." Lulu pressed closer to Coralline's glowing shell, peering down. The seafloor stretched like a dreamscape, filled with glass lanterns tangled in coral and sand. Some still flickered weakly, others were dark, their glass clouded with time. "They're beautiful," Lulu breathed, "but so sad." Coralline's eyes softened. Many of these dreams have slept for centuries. Some belong to those who once looked at the stars above and hoped. Others were never spoken aloud. The sea caught them all. Mira swam closer to one of the dark lanterns, tracing its rim with her glowing tail. Their light fades when they are forgotten, but if even one heart remembers the dream, it can shine again. Lulu's chest warmed. "Then we'll remind them all." She floated nearer to the nearest lantern, her reflection curved across its surface. "What if we sing to them?" she asked. Not words, just warmth. Maybe they'll remember. Coralline's deep voice rumbled like thunder in the distance. The sea listens to song. Try, little one. Lulu took a slow, deep breath and began to hum. The sound was soft at first, uncertain in the heavy water, but it carried gentle, steady, full of heart. Mira added a faint trill, her tail shining brighter, and Coralline joined in with a deep harmonic tone that rippled through the trench like the voice of the sea itself. One lantern flickered, then another, and another. Golden light blossomed beneath them, spreading like dawn through the deep. The glass flowers of the trench shimmered with color, and the sleeping lanterns stirred as though taking their first breath in years. Lulu smiled, bubbles escaping her mouth like laughter. They're waking up! Mira spun joyfully around her, leaving trails of light in the water. Your song reminds them what warmth feels like. But then Coraline's eyes darkened. Not all lights are ready to wake. Some remember pain. Some remember loss. As if to prove her words, a lantern at the edge of the garden flickered weakly, its glow twisting, fading into shadow. The water around it trembled with cold. Myra's glow dimmed. That one carries sorrow too heavy to lift. Lulu floated closer, heart aching. Then we won't leave it behind, she whispered. Even sorrow deserves to shine again. And with that promise, she placed her hoof gently against the lantern's glass and sang once more, this time with all the love she carried inside her. The water around Lulu shivered, heavy and cold. The dark lantern beneath her hoof felt almost alive, as if it were breathing slow, tired breaths that had forgotten what warmth meant. Inside the glass, shadows coiled and retreated like smoke. Mira hovered close, her little fins fluttering nervously. Be careful, she whispered. That one's light went out long ago. Sometimes the sea keeps sorrow to protect it from breaking. Lulu didn't move her hoof. Sorrow isn't meant to be buried, she said softly. It just needs to be heard. Coraline's great shell glowed faintly behind them, her voice deep as thunder slowed to a heartbeat. Then let it speak, little one. But remember, listen without fear. Lulu closed her eyes and listened. At first there was only silence. Then a faint echo rose from the lantern, a sound like the memory of crying in a place too deep for air. Pictures shimmered faintly across the glass, a child standing on a shore, holding a paper boat that the wind had taken, an old sailor watching the sea from far away, the moon hidden behind clouds. Lulu's heart ached. She felt the sorrow like waves pushing gently against her chest. So she did the only thing she knew, she sang. It wasn't a song of joy this time, but of understanding, a quiet, slow hum that curved through the water like a warm current. She sang of missing and remembering, of longing that could still hold love. Her tone wrapped the sadness, not to banish it, but to give it rest. Myra's eyes glistened. She's singing to its pain. Coraline added a low hum, steady and grounding. The trench began to vibrate gently, the sand swirling upward in slow spirals. Then, inside the lantern, something stirred. The smoke-like shadow began to pulse, faintly at first, then brighter, turning from gray to deep blue. It shivered once, twice, and then a light bloomed inside, soft as dawn. The glow spread outward, weaving through cracks in the lantern and into the surrounding sea. For a moment, the whole trench shimmered in shades of blue and gold, as if sorrow itself had turned to beauty. Lulu smiled through the tears that drifted from her eyes like bubbles. "There you are," she whispered. The light pulsed again, then released tiny motes of brightness that floated upward like glowing seeds. They joined the other lanterns above, their warmth adding a new color to the ocean's tapestry, a calm, tender blue. Mira twirled joyfully in the glow. "You did it! You turned sadness into light." Coraline's eyes softened. "No," she said gently. She helped it remember what it already was, a dream that simply forgot its song. The garden glowed brighter now. Lanterns that had remained dim flickered awake, each one responding to the warmth of the others. The trench, once heavy with silence, began to hum with quiet music, a chorus of dreams remembering themselves. But as Lulu looked around, she noticed that some lanterns still lay deep in the shadowed sand, their glass broken or lost entirely. "There are still more," she said. "Some dreams have no light left at all." Coraline turned toward the deepest part of the trench, where the sea turned black. "Those belong to the first dreams," she said. "They have slept the longest, and the sea cannot reach them alone." Lulu's wool shimmered in the soft blue light. "Then we'll go to them," she said. Myra's glow brightened. "You mean deeper? Beyond the trench?" Lulu nodded. "If light can rise, then hope can fall and find what's forgotten." Coraline's great eyes gleamed with pride. "Then prepare yourself, little one. The water below has never known sound. You will have to carry all we've found, the song, the sorrow, and the light." Lulu took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the sea around her like an embrace. "I'm ready," she whispered. The lanterns above flickered as if to cheer her on, and with Mira circling beside her and Coraline guiding from behind, Lulu began her descent into the deepest dark, where even dreams had forgotten their names. The water grew heavier, pressing softly against Lulu's wool as they descended. Light faded until only the faint glow from Myra's tail and the runes on Coraline's shell remained. The sea was no longer blue here, it was a deep, endless gray, quiet as sleep. Mira hovered close to Lulu's ear, her voice trembling. "This is deeper than I've ever gone. Even the current feels afraid." Lulu gave a small smile, though her heart beat fast. "Then we'll go slowly, and we'll stay together." Coraline's enormous form glided just beneath them, her golden shell pulsing like a heartbeat. "Do not fear what you cannot see," she said. "This place is not empty. It only waits to remember." They drifted lower until the trench floor appeared vast and smooth, covered in sand that glowed faintly like dust from stars. All around lay broken lanterns, scattered and silent. Some had lost their glass entirely. Others flickered with light too weak to survive. Lulu floated among them, her breath catching. "There are so many." Mira nodded sadly. "These are the first dreams the sea ever caught, the ones that never found a home." Lulu brushed her hoof across one half-buried lantern. Its surface was cracked, the metal cold beneath her touch. "They feel lonely," she said softly. Coraline's eyes closed for a moment. They are. The sea holds them, but cannot wake them. Only a living heart can remind them what warmth feels like. Lulu looked down at her chest, where faint moonlight shimmered against her wool. Then I'll share mine. She took a deep breath, though there was no air, and began to hum. It was the same tune she'd sung to the sorrowful lantern, but softer now, almost weightless. The sound drifted through the water like a ripple of silver. The broken lantern beneath her hoof trembled. A faint glimmer stirred inside, then faded. Mira swirled her glowing tail around it, adding her light to Lulu's song. Coraline joined with a low note that seemed to rise from the ocean's bones. Together, their sounds wove into something larger, part song, part heartbeat, part memory. The seafloor responded. A windless current began to move, swirling around them. Sand lifted, spiraling upward in rings of gold and blue. The broken lanterns shifted, their pieces aligning as if drawn by the melody. Then light. One by one, the lanterns flared awake, each a different color: amber, silver, rose, deep green. Some burned steady, others flickered shyly, as though unsure they still belonged to the world. Mira gasped. They're remembering. Coraline's deep voice vibrated through the water. You've woken what even the sea forgot. These are the oldest dreams, the first hopes that ever touched the world. Lulu's wool shimmered, her body glowing with reflected light. Around her, the broken pieces of glass drifted upward like glowing petals. But at the very center of the trench, something vast remained dark, a massive lantern, its surface covered in coral, its glass blackened by time. Myra's glow dimmed. That one, it hasn't shone since the beginning. It carries the dream of the sea itself. Lulu stared at it, awe and warmth rising in her chest. Then that's the one we need to wake. Coraline looked at her with reverence. To do so, you must give it more than song. You must give it trust, let it see itself through you. Lulu nodded slowly. Then I'll try. She swam toward the dark lantern, its sheer size dwarfing her completely. It loomed like a sleeping moon. As she placed her hoof against its surface, the silence deepened until it felt like the sea itself had stopped to listen. Lulu closed her eyes and whispered, "You are not forgotten." For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, a sound, low and soft, rose from within the lantern, like a sigh escaping after endless ages. The glass beneath her hoof grew warm. Cracks began to glow faintly, lines of gold and blue spreading outward like veins of fire. Coraline's runes flared bright. Mira gasped. The great lantern pulsed once, twice, and then erupted with light, flooding the entire trench in radiance. The ocean around them shimmered with color, brighter than the sun could ever reach. All the smaller lanterns flared in answer, their light weaving upward in ribbons. The trench transformed into a cathedral of living glow, where sound and silence sang together, Lulu blinked against the brightness, tears floating from her eyes in tiny, sparkling spheres. "It's beautiful," she whispered. Coraline's deep voice was full of warmth. "You've done what no current could. You gave the sea back its heart." Mira twirled happily through the golden water. "Look, the light's rising. It's going home." Indeed, the glowing ribbons streamed upward, racing toward the surface, carrying the songs of the lanterns back to the sky. Lulu smiled softly. "Let's follow them." The water grew brighter as they rose. The darkness that had clung to the trench fell away behind them, replaced by rivers of gold and blue streaming upward through the deep. The lantern's light moved like a living tide, carrying the warmth of 1,000 remembered dreams. Lulu swam among them, her wool glowing as if she carried a piece of that ancient fire inside her. Mira darted circles around her, laughing softly, bubbles spiraling from her mouth. "They're free! Look at them go, every dream, every wish." Coraline followed slowly behind, her shell radiant with golden runes. "The sea has not shone like this since the world was young," she said, her voice deep with wonder. "You have returned its first light." They rose through the gardens of coral now reborn in color, reds, blues, and greens blooming in every direction. Shoals of fish swam beside them, scales glittering like fragments of starlight. The ocean seemed alive in a way Lulu had never imagined, singing, breathing, remembering. As they reached the shallows, the waves shimmered brighter still, as if the stars themselves had fallen into the sea. The lanterns drifted upward, one by one breaking the surface and lifting into the night sky like glowing orbs. Each one rose higher until it joined the stars, their songs blending into the wind. Mira watched with wide eyes. "They're becoming constellations again," she whispered. Coraline nodded. "Dreams always return to the sky. The sea only keeps them safe for a while." Lulu floated on the waves, her chest full of quiet joy. Then every star up there was once a dream down here, Coraline finished gently. For a long time, they simply watched. The sea glowed softly, its reflection mirrored in the endless sky above. The boundary between the two vanished until it was impossible to tell where one ended and the other began. Mira nestled beside Lulu, her tiny light flickering with contentment. "Thank you," she said. "The ocean song will never be lonely again." Coraline's vast shadow loomed nearby, protective and calm. "And now you carry its melody, little one. Wherever you go, the sea will remember your song." Lulu smiled, her eyes half closing as the rhythm of the waves rocked her gently. "Then I'll remember it too. Every sound, every shimmer." The last of the lanterns drifted skyward, fading into stars until the surface of the water returned to stillness. The moon shone brighter than before, its light rippling across the waves like silver breath. Mira hovered near Lulu's ear. "Listen," she whispered. Lulu tilted her head. The sea was singing again, soft, full, alive. not a song of sorrow, but of peace. Coraline's voice rumbled like a heartbeat beneath the waves. The sea's dream is complete. Lulu sighed happily, closing her eyes. Then maybe it's time to rest. The water cradled her as she drifted, the moon reflecting in her wool. The ocean's hum wrapped around her like a lullaby, and as her thoughts began to fade, she whispered one last promise into the waves. I'll come back when you dream again. And with that, Lulu drifted into sleep, floating among the reflections of lanterns that now shone above her as stars. The sea of light breathed once more, quiet, eternal, whole.
Now it's quiet, night is near. Drift away through stars so clear. Lulu whispers soft and bright, sleep so well and good night. Sweetest dreams will softly flow. Lulu stays with you, you know, till we meet again, my dear. Let your dreams keep drawing near. Till we meet again, my dear. Let your dreams keep drawing.